The wait is almost over. Chiefs football is back. Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We will break down every single matchup for your Kansas City Chiefs in 2024 and give you our predictions for how the season will shake out. I have my final record prediction of 2024 that we'll get to coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. If you're ready for Chiefs football, you know what to do. Spam C in the comments section. We want Chiefs Kingdom to let their voices be heard loud and clear. This is our rallying cry. We want to make sure they can hear us all the way in Baltimore, in Cincinnati, in Miami, in Pittsburgh, in San Francisco, you name it. Let our voices be heard. Spam C in the chat for the Chiefs, and we'll get started with today's show. Week 1, I have a win for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's going to be a fun matchup between these two teams. The Ravens certainly come in hungry after losing that AFC Championship game. They want their revenge. They got Derrick Henry and all that, but I don't see the Chiefs getting the Banner Night spoiled 2 years in a row. A very good matchup, don't get me wrong, but I think the Chiefs get it done. And then week 2, we have another win for the Kansas City Chiefs. This time, taking out Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Bengals, this team, I think, has some unknowns this year. How are they going to look health-wise? Can they keep Joe Burrow healthy? And we know about the stuff going on in the contract situations with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson. Can they keep all those guys happy? I think the Chiefs take care of business there week 2. Week 3, another win. I think Atlanta might be the most improved team in the National Football League in 2024. I love them bringing in Cousins. I think they're going to get more out of Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson than they did previously. I love the addition of Matthew Judon that they brought in just a couple weeks ago. But even with all that said, the Chiefs are going to be too much. Week 4, the Chargers, new head coach with Jim Harbaugh taking over. That offense to me is a little weird with Greg Roman using Justin Herbert. I don't know how that's all going to work and how far they come along in week 4. I like the hire, but I think it's going to take time there in L.A. for Jim Harbaugh to get that team competitive. Week 5, you take on the New Orleans Saints. I think that's a win for the Chiefs against New Orleans. I don't think the Saints are very good at all this season, quite frankly. I don't believe in Derek Carr. The Chiefs have owned Derek Carr over the years. I think they start off the campaign 5-0 and in great shape heading into the next portion of the schedule. We'll keep this going here and go over the rest of the schedule here in just a moment. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you believe the Chiefs' record will be in 2024? Weigh in the comments section. Get your predictions in now and let us know. After the bye week, week 6, I know Andy Reid's very good coming off a bye. I see the first loss of the year, week 7, against the Niners on the road. That Niners team is going to have a chip on their shoulder after the Super Bowl last year, and I think that the Chiefs, this is their first slip-up, that they lose to a very good Niners team, a very close game, but ultimately the Niners get it done there. Week 8, the Chiefs bounce back with a win against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders have some talented players, but it kind of reminds me of Colorado football, where you got a few stars, and then you got a bunch of mid and bad players after that when it comes to this Vegas team. I mean, you look, I love Devontae Adams. I love Mason and those guys there, but then after that, it's slim pickings. Week 9, you take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield and company, a rematch of that Super Bowl from a few years ago. I think the Chiefs get a win on the road against Tampa Bay. I think Tampa is a sneaky good football team there with Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans and company, but I still like Kansas City to take care of business on the road. Week 10 against the Broncos. I'm not buying the Bo Nix hype at all. I know he had a very good training camp in preseason, but trust me when I say this, folks, he will get exposed sooner than later. Give it time. Week 11 at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, I think, this is a game that can really go either way. And we've seen in the past where the Bills got the best of Kansas City in the regular season. But who's won when these two teams have faced when it really matters? In the postseason, it's been Kansas City. So Buffalo, sure, you can have that Week 11 win. That's your Super Bowl. In Kansas City, we win games when it really counts, when it matters. So Week 11, give it to Buffalo, but I think if they met in the postseason, I have no doubt in my mind Kansas City would pull it off. Will the Chiefs win the AFC West? I mean, really? Yeah, of course they are. Let's make it loud and clear that they're going to win the AFC West. Spam yes, Y for yes in the comments section if you believe that the Chiefs keep their dominance on the rest of the AFC West in the comments section below. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got it all. I just used Game Time over the weekend to go to the USC-LSU game in Vegas. Had an incredible time, and you can have a great time, too, with Game Time, folks, and get tickets to see your Kansas City Chiefs play. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. Choose your seat. See if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, and they have this thing called super deals, folks. And if you stumble upon a super deal, then you have found something you can't pass up on. They have their seat views so you can see what the seat looks like, get a visual, and see for yourself. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. We go to Week 12, a win against the Carolina Panthers. That is an awful football team there in Carolina. I do like their new head coach, Dave Canales, but he doesn't have a ton of talent to work with around Bryce Young there. Week 13, the Raiders, that's a win. They're not getting beat by the Raiders once this year. I don't think the Chiefs lose a game in the division the entire season, unlike last year. Another win Week 14 against the Chargers. Is Justin Herbert healthy at this point by Week 14? With as much as Greg Roman's going to run him around, we'll check back on that later. Week 15 against the Brownies on the road. Eventually, after stacking up all these pennies and wins, I think that the Browns are a tough matchup on the road with arguably the best defense in football with Myles Garrett and company. That's just not a good spot there Week 15 to take on that Browns team that's going to be playing to make the playoffs at that point, potentially contending in their division. I have the Browns winning that Week 15 game there. We will wrap up the regular season in a moment, but I want to ask you guys, what Chiefs game are you most excited about this season? Let me know. Weigh in and chime in. Tell us what game stands out to you in the regular season this year. Week 16, it's going to be a good day for the Kansas City Chiefs against the Houston Texans. I know everybody's buying into the hype on the Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson bringing in Danielle Hunter and Stephon Diggs. Texans might be the Chiefs' biggest threat in the AFC potentially, but I don't see the Chiefs losing that game at home. And then it'll be a Merry Christmas to all and all a good night when the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Pittsburgh Steelers as Santa Andy is coming to town and delivering W's there. And then Week 18 against the Denver Broncos. You might not even be playing your starters at this point of the year. But even with that said, the Broncos, I think the Chiefs JV team could probably beat the Denver Broncos. So I'll go ahead and give the Chiefs a win Week 18. So with that said, a lot of W's this year. I am predicting your Kansas City Chiefs go 14-3, get the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, first round bye, and then go on to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl and raise the Lombardi Trophy again, and it becomes like clockwork, right? What is the Chiefs' toughest matchup this year? Now that we've gone through all 17 games, what stands out to you? Weigh in and let us know what you believe that matchup is. The Chiefs Report is closing in on 57,000 subscribers on this very YouTube channel for the latest happenings on your Kansas City Chiefs, daily news and rumors, live shows, watch parties, including this Thursday night when your Chiefs take on the Baltimore Ravens. It's all in one place right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Never miss a moment. Let's go through some of the marquee matchups for your Kansas City Chiefs this season and go more in depth here. Chiefs and Ravens on Thursday night. The Chiefs are about a 3-point favorite against Baltimore, and we're going to do a more in-depth breakdown coming up in the coming days here on the channel. But I got to tell you, To me, this game is all about slowing down Derrick Henry. That's the big difference between this Ravens team compared to last year, is having Derrick Henry into the fold now. And what are the Chiefs going to do about slowing down Derrick Henry and force Lamar to throw the football deep like they did in that AFC Championship game? If they have a similar game plan to what they did in the AFC Championship and it works effectively, I think the Chiefs are in great shape for Thursday night. The Bengals matchup, I think, is going to be an old-fashioned shootout. You got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow, obviously Patrick Mahomes on the other side, some incredible weapons for both teams offensively. This might be the first team to 50 wins this game. What defense can get enough stops, create enough turnovers to be the difference in this one? I think it's going to be one of the best games of the entire season there, week 2. Week 3, Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. Well, I'm very curious about Atlanta when you get to that week 3 game. Remember, it's not just a new head coach, but a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator with all that talent there. And usually, when you bring in these new schemes, it's not overnight that everything is going swimmingly. Sometimes these things take time. How far along are the Atlanta Falcons by week 3? Do they have it all figured out, or are they still going through some growing pains potentially? As much as I like this Atlanta Falcons team, I think the Chiefs are getting them in a great spot week 3 when this team is still trying to find themselves. Then we skip ahead to week 7. After the bye week, taking on the San Francisco 49ers on the road. And the Chiefs won at San Francisco last year. Remember that game? Great win for the Kansas City Chiefs. This year, you take on this Niners team, it's the same things that we talk about with the Niners. It's slowing down Christian McCaffrey, right? It's putting Brock Purdy in tough spots to make mistakes. And to me, this is a game that really could go either way. I'm excited about it. I'm very interested to see how much of that edge do the Niners play with something to prove coming off that Super Bowl. You take on the Bucs on Monday Night Football. Da-da-da-da-da! Da-da-da-da! Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, I don't think, need to be underestimated in this spot. We've seen Baker play really well in some big games. I recall many years ago when he was with Cleveland in that opener against Kansas City. That was one of his best outings he's ever had. And we saw what Baker did last year in the playoffs, in the wild card round, the divisional round. Baker made plays. What are the Chiefs going to do to force Baker to make some potential mistakes here? I think that's a sneaky good game there, week 9. Week 11, taking on the Buffalo Bills. Kansas City, a slight favorites there. With Buffalo, what I find interesting is this Josh Allen team. The talent around him, I think, has taken a significant step back from what it was previously. And you think about the Chiefs, they went through that, right? Losing some guys, and Patrick Mahomes was able to adapt and overcome those issues. What about the Buffalo Bills? How much can they adapt and overcome with what they've lost of losing guys like Diggs and others here? This is the toughest challenge of a year ahead for Buffalo that they've had since Josh Allen's been their quarterback. You take on Cleveland, and I just don't like that spot week 15 because I think this Cleveland team is going to be fighting for a playoff berth at this point, right? I expect the Ravens to win that division, and then the gauntlet that Cleveland goes through of Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, all those guys there, every game's going to count. I think they're going to be very desperate. And then how does Deshaun Watson look at this point? I think he's kind of one of the biggest unknowns this year. It's kind of a make-or-break season for Deshaun Watson there in Cleveland. Week 16, you take on the Houston Texans. And that game, folks, I think when you look at this matchup against this Houston Texans team, that offense, I'm very fascinated with the pass rush. Who's going to get after the quarterback? Does Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter test that Chiefs offensive line? On the Chiefs side of things, can Chris Jones and company, Karlaftis, get after C.J. Stroud? Whatever team's pass rush comes through might be the difference in this football game. The Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas on the road. It's on Netflix, so get your subscriptions now. When I look at this game here, the Pittsburgh Steelers, if they're going to be a good football team, they're going to have to run the football well. And we don't know at this point if we're going to see Russell Wilson or if we're going to see Justin Fields when we get to Week 17, how will the Chiefs stop the run with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris and company? If they can stop the run, then they'll be in great shape. So there you have it. That is a full look at the Kansas City Chiefs season in 2024. What will be the Chiefs' record this year? Weigh in and let us know. Thanks for joining us here at the Kansas City Chiefs Report. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe, follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Tyler Jones Live, and I'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.